It's just the beginning of April, and already there have been several confrontations between China and the Philippines. And this week, a Chinese vessel engaged in reckless and dangerous maneuvers against a Philippine Coast Guard vessel in the South China Sea. China has arrested 3 Filipinos on spying charges, which Manila called retaliation for its efforts to target Chinese spies. It was a strategic move to simulate countermeasures against nearby US warships.
Experts also suggest that Shandong's route was not just about showcasing naval power, but also aimed at exploring alternative maritime pathways. Now, these routes could prove critical in a conflict over Taiwan, highlighting China's growing focus on enhancing its naval readiness in the region.
Amidst the escalating tensions, China's foreign minister once again reiterated Beijing's stance, asserting that Taiwan has never been an independent country and it never will be.
The only reference to the Taiwan region in the UN is Taiwan province of China. Taiwan is never a country, not in the past and never in the future. To clamor for Taiwan independence is to split the country. To support Taiwan independence is to interfere in China's internal affairs, and to connive at Taiwan independence is to undermine the stability of the Taiwan Strait.
It's never been a question of if, but when. And now something big has changed. A critical piece of the invasion puzzle may have just fallen into place, and Taiwan, it's on high alert.
China is retaliating again against the US retaliation, so it's hard to tell who's retaliating in what way. But China's now saying they're at 125%, and Donald Trump saying that US tariffs are on China at 145%. But the message very much from China is we are going to escalate if you're going to escalate. Whether that creates the room that Donald Trump is talking about for conversation at some point, it probably still does, because Xi Jinping and Donald Trump are both pragmatic enough to know that they probably should talk to each other if there is that opportunity. But how do you get agreement and understandings to talk in a climate like this? But certainly China sending the message again that they're not going to start to slow down in the face of Donald Trump's escalations on trade.
Saying that China does not fear economic suppression, but adding there are no winners in a tariff war. It comes after the White House clarified it had raised tariffs on China to 145%.
I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries.
The U.S. tariff policies for the rest of the world remain uncertain. The president keeping a 10% baseline tax in place, even as he paused higher tariffs on dozens of trading partners. President Trump saying he's punishing countries who he insists treat the U.S. unfairly in trade. But experts warn many of those costs will be passed on to American consumers. According to a new estimate, all the tariffs could end up costing American households an extra $4,700 in purchasing power. The president acknowledging there will be short-term economic pain.
There'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Amazon CEO telling CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin it will likely lead to higher prices.
I think we'll have to see how it all plays out. But if you made me guess, I'm guessing that that sellers will pass that cost on.
This morning, Wall Street is set to wrap up one of the most volatile weeks in the stock market's history. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all plunging again on Thursday, erasing part of the historic recovery just 24 hours earlier. The president downplaying the sell-off.
We're very, very happy with the way the country's running.
China says its new 125% tariff is set to go into effect on American goods tomorrow. And the market's euphoria, Willie, earlier this week that the president might be backing away from this trade war certainly appears to have been premature. J.P. Morgan Chase making clear that it is not changing its prediction that the U.S. will plunge into a recession as a result of President Trump's policies, blaming what it calls the largest tax hike since World War II.